Hey guys, I'm Matt. Welcome to the MrMaple Show. Today's the 10 at 10 for Tuesday, October 4th of 2022.
Hey, it's fall. Fall's a great time for planting. We appreciate you watching this video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, sign up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. We're talking about 10 trees of the 20 trees getting listed today at 10 a.m. Make sure to watch this video and make sure you sign up for our weekly emails so you know about the full listing that's getting listed each and every week.
So I'm Matt, this is my brother Tim, and we love Japanese maples. We love sharing our passion with everybody about these things. I hope you're enjoying our regularly scheduled programming, guys. We've been bringing you videos 7 days a week. We've been dropping that podcast. All kinds of new things are coming. So definitely be like, subscribing, and sharing. That goes a long way into helping this channel. We love seeing every single video get over 1,000 views in a day. That's been happening pretty consistently lately. And the best is yet to come, guys. We got a ton of fun stuff lined up for the MrMaple Show. So make sure to be like, subscribing, and sharing all the time. We love that stuff. Today's 10 at 10, I think, is a home run hitter. We've got some really good stuff. These are typically some of our most popular videos of the week. During the week, everybody tunes in for those 10 at 10s. We love everybody getting those premieres. Guys, let us know in the comment section below where you're watching from this morning.
This week, we've got 10 trees that are outside the box. We've got trees that we haven't listed in a long time, as well as the other 10 trees that are getting listed this week as well. So we got some really, really cool things and some things that you've been missing out on that you've been wanting. We've been getting those notifications when people say, hey, I want to be notified when this tree becomes available again. We're going to have a lot of those this week.
Hey, these are outside the box, but we can get them in a box and headed your way really quickly. So all these trees will be showing up today at 10 a.m. Eastern, and definitely be, subscribing to these so you can catch these videos every Tuesday at 9. Now, first up here on the table, we have Acer palmatum miwa.
So this is M-I-W-A, not to be confused with Mila.
Yeah, it's close.
Close, one letter off, but it's a very different plant. This is a reticulated type introduced by Talon Buchholz. It really has some really nice reticulation. It's almost like a white green, like a cream mint kind of color in the spring with that green veining in it. It's really spectacular.
It's kind of one of those categories that could fit into that first category of the new ghost. Like it was right after Mikazuki and Talon had quit kind of naming things that ghost lineage. Miwa may be one of the least known ones in that ghost lineage. It's not got ghost on it. He certainly could have called it, something ghost and added it to that collection because it was very early on and close to that original ghost series. But when he went with Mikazuki, he kind of went away from that. Now, Miwa is one of those very first ones to do that. Excellent tree. It does remind me a little bit of Tiger Rose. I like that etching to it. A little bit different leaf shape, but it's a very soft, subtle etching.
And this is one that will end up getting about 8 to 10 feet in 10 years. Give us some protection from the hot afternoon sun because it is a reticulated type. It'll hold that reticulation longer throughout the season if you do that. And gives you some nice yellows, oranges, and even some reds in the fall.
I've seen some excellent oranges on this one, especially yellows and oranges. I've seen it, the fall color just really lights up. We're just weeks away from fall color here, so get ready for some 10 at 10s, hopefully in some peak fall color. Watch our video on leaf drop. Some things will be all out of leaf at different colors at different times, but we're going to keep bringing you content.
I love when the temperature starts to drop because it makes me want to get into the garden. There's so much, that's such a great time to get out and work because you can go and get so much done and you don't get overheated. I mean, this season is perfect.
Hey, my favorite weather is hoodies and shorts. That's the perfect temperature for me. So we're pretty much there.
So next up we have Acer palmatum cigar and nishki. Cigar and nishki, I remember seeing the perfect one at Puget Sound at their community college. Frank Biles had donated a ton of trees to them. And there was one, it was the very first cigar nishki I ever saw. It had some protection from the hot afternoon sun. It got morning sun in its location. And it just had yellow etched variegation, just so strong around the border on every leaf.
Yeah.
Amazing plant, a very unique style of variegation you don't find on many other Japanese maples.
Yeah, this one's a really fun one. It's going to have that leaf etching. Every little leaf almost looks like it's checked with that gold flaking, especially in early spring. You can get it deep into the leaf like Tim was saying. Early morning sun, late day shade is best with this one. You want to leaf it out slow, give it early morning sun, late day shade, and low nitrogen. That'll give you some of your best colors on this. I love that regal kind of etching it gets to it. I think it gives it one of the most unique habits. I always wanted to cross this one with Makawa Yetsubusa. That'd be such a cool plant to have that etching on a Makawa. Unique and of itself amongst Japanese maples in the way it's colored. Very unique plant. Awesome fall colors too. It's going to go from that green and that gold and that green and that white into more of a bold red with soft pink in it. Really nice tree for the color pattern. Very durable. Again, this one's going to work zones 5 through 9.
Now, young plants don't always show the same variegation as established plants out in the landscape. This is one I've never seen any actual reversion on it, but on certain years you may get more variegation on it than you do on other years. So cigar nishki, amazing plant, one that's very unusual and very different.
So next up on the table, we've got Acer palmatum matsuyoi. Now this is a very old Japanese cultivar that can bring high drama, especially in those fall months with shades of yellow, orange, and red.
Yeah, I like matsuyoi. It's also known as matsuyoi. It's going to be a plant that gets about 8 feet tall in 10 years, almost equally as tall as it is wide, and really gives you some really, really nice fall colors like Matt was talking about. Love this plant for what it does with that amanum style leaf. It's definitely one that stands out from the crowd. It's very unique, and it won't last long when we list it. It's one that sells out often really quickly.
It's not very frequently in the trade, so it is rare to see this one in propagation still. We love bringing some of those back. I know you guys love signing up for some of our videos. The Yokohama videos coming out, that's going to be a really fun one. We're going to do a deep dive into some older Japanese maples on that one. I think you're going to love some of this content we're bringing you, but we love bringing some of those back. So matsuyoi, no exception, an older classic Japanese maple, maybe not found in the trade as much as it used to be, but we still love to propagate it and get it out there here at MrMaple. Great plant.
Now next up, we've got a new selection. This is by Neil Ramsey or Neil Facillo. Amazing, amazing plant. This is a more yellow lace leaf when you put it out in the sun. Can give you some really nice red tipping. We sent one to Talon Buchholz, and he was like, this plant is lighting up. He was really impressed with it and said, man, this tree is really lightening it up in the fall. And it does. This is one that can really give you some really intense orange reds in the fall. For us, this is a really new lace leaf that is different, unusual, and we like to do that. We like to not only focus on having new introductions, but also having classic ones like matsuyoi, and being able to offer all these unique plants that are truly different.
I think Tim's so excited about it, he hadn't even said the cultivar name yet. It's Asayaki. Awesome lace leaf. This is going to make a great candidate for container gardening or in the ground. Put this one out pairing with your reds and your greens. It's going to make a phenomenal plant, and one that's got a great size to it already as well.
Yeah, definitely got some good size 1 gallons right now in Asayaki. It's also not going to last very long, so do make sure you check out really quickly.
So next up on the table, we're bringing back a classic for you. This is Acer palmatum Lima Gold. I know I say this in a lot of videos, but check out our Red Maple Nurseries video. It's one of my favorite videos we've done so far. It was an early one Brian did with us, and we just really all had fun geeking out, doing a deep dive there, talking to Billy Schwartz, talking about Dick Wolf and some of those early introductions. Again, we even got Ed Shin on camera with this one, talking about all the Lima Gold in the trade came from Ed Shin's garden. Ed bought a tree there from Dick Wolf that since disappeared in the trade, and by him sharing signwood with people, Lima Gold's possible. We throw it in that Makawa collection. I mean, I love this one.
Yeah, whenever you think about Lima Gold, think about it as a small leaf Makawa. It has the same habit, the same tightly layering habit as Makawa Yatsubusa, the same structure, but a much smaller leaf. So if you're looking for something for bonsai, look no further than Lima Gold, because everyone loves Makawa for bonsai. The one disadvantage is the larger leaf. Lima Gold has that smaller leaf and makes it perfect for bonsai.
Awesome plant, guys. You've heard us talk about this one. Great for container, great for ground, perfect pairing for a conifer garden. Lima Gold, I can't say enough good things about it. I consider it part of that Makawa Yatsubusa family. It's got a similar shape, but with much smaller leaves. You're definitely going to want to check out Lima Gold.
So next up, we have Acer palmatum dissectum Irish lace. Not to be confused with the Japonicum form that's out there.
Yeah.
There is a Japonicum form that was introduced by Billy Schwartz.
Yeah, this one has some really unique color patterns to it. This one's going to be distinctly a palmatum dissectum, so it's going to be a lace leaf form. Don't get this one confused like Tim was saying with the Japonicum. Lovely plant though. It's a little bit more in that ornatum style. This one leaves out a little bit pinker with some really cool flushes. It makes an awesome accent to several of your other unique lace leaves. This one and Asayaki are going to pair really cool together, but this one with any of your typical lace leaves like Waterfall or Nabashidari, it's going to look so uniquely different in the landscape and give you something super extra. Now, it does get to more of a green palette midsummer.
Now, like Matt talked about, that pink-orange kind of color in the springtime, that pink-orange-red, I mean, is really unique to something like Irish lace. And then it goes to those bronze reds, then to that green color. And then this tree can really give you some nice yellows and oranges and even some reds in the fall So you get a full spectrum of colors on this plant. And that's the thing I really like about Irish lace, is that ever-changing color. I mean, you get all those colors from the pink reds to the bronzes to the greens to the yellows, oranges, and reds in the fall.
Another rare one here in the trade. Guys, we haven't offered this one in a while. I don't expect it to last long.
Not very long.
Always popular, the dissectum form of Irish lace. Now, another one we haven't offered in a minute. I mean, typically a staple here at our nursery. It's taken us a second to get them back into propagation. This is Shermans Nordic. It's a dwarf dawn redwood that is amongst some of our favorite dwarf plants we grow here at our nursery. You'll see this one sometimes referred to as North Light or Northern Light. Shermans Nordic, Nordic actually means Northern Light. Awesome compact dawn redwood.
Love this plant for that color this one can get. And it really gives almost a blue cream kind of color. And it really stands out from a lot of other plants. As a deciduous conifer, this is a great plant. I love the dawn redwoods though, because they can handle a little more moisture than the maples.
Yeah.
So if you've got a wetter spot in your yard, you want to put something that's really ornamental, Shermans Nordic's a great thing you can put out there. 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. Not a very large plant. Really nice conical habit, but some really nice color on this, being it has that creamy variegation.
Shout out to Hank Van Kampen. He visited a few years ago with his brother, and he told us he named this one for his, a customer of his named Sherman. And Sherman's Northern Light, essentially what that translates as. We do keep the original name on it there, Sherman's Nordic. That's a mouthful on a label with that Metasequoia glyptosymboides, Sherman's Nordic. But you're gonna love this dwarf dawn redwood, whether you call it Northern Light or Sherman's Nordic.
Love this plant. Love the dawn redwoods, especially the dwarf dawn redwoods. I mean, they're hard to beat, because if you've got those wet spots in your yard, like I mentioned, you can put those in there and really enjoy something ornamental in those spots. Next up, we've got Acer Shirason Moonrise.
Hey, this is a great plant if you like that kind of thing. It's always at one of our top of our list for some of our favorite Japanese maples. I think Brian might say this one sometimes is one of his very favorite Japanese maples. Introduction by our good friend Carl Munn. Carl's been a mentor to us here at our nursery and one of the best Japanese maple growers on the planet. Moonrise, probably his defining introduction, probably at least his most famous. It's getting popular all over the world. I know it was very close to winning Chelsea if it didn't win Chelsea a couple years ago at the Chelsea Flowers Show. It's been taking Europe by storm. Always popular, Acer Shirason Moonrise.
Talk about a great plant. It's hardy. It's a plant that's a good grower. It's one that can handle a lot more sun than something like an autumn moon.
Yeah.
It's a more vigorous plant. But talk about the color changes.
Oh man.
I mean, this one just goes on through some electric pink reds to pinks to salmons, over top of yellow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, lime green.
I love mid-spring when it first starts leafing out. You get some yellow older growth. You get red and apricot over top of that. The contrast within itself is almost unparalleled. It's one of those trees that just contrast its own foliage immaculately. I love this tree for that early spring flush. We have a giant one. Check out our video on Moonrise. It's an older one, but we've got a great video that showcases a giant one there in our landscape at our parents' house there at Maplewood Gardens. We've got a beautiful specimen in the ground. It's actually in full sun here in zone 6B, so these can handle a little bit more sun than your autumn moon. Awesome plant though. I definitely recommend some late day shade in a hotter zone 8 and zone 9, but a very, very durable full moon, that classic large full moon leaf. And what's not to love about Moonrise? It's always a classic.
We love that plant. It's one that's hard to beat if you're looking for an Acer Shirason.
So next up, we've got Acer Japonicum Takidogawa. Yeah, another nice round leaf Japonicum form. Love this one for its big foliage. Again, just a classic here. Love that bright red fall color you get on Takidogawa too. I've seen a litany of colors, but I've seen it be immaculately red with yellow in it. That's really what I think of with this one.
We know you're always commenting, more full moons. Well, we've got a Shirason and a Japonicum on this listing today. Amazing Japonicum, really, really big leaves. If you give the Japonicums some morning sun, afternoon shade, you can really get those leaves to get some really nice sizes to them. I've seen in some deeper shade situations where you get some really, really large leaves in the Acer Japonicums. And when you get those big leaves, that's just a bigger palette for this to show fall color on. And so, I mean, the Japonicums give some of the best fall color of any Japanese maple. And this one can really give you some nice oranges and reds on this plant. Amazing on its fall color.
Hey, check out our video on Takidogawa. There's one in my yard. You probably hear me like a broken record, but we're starting to get a really big catalog of cultivars here on our YouTube channel. I've got a beautiful specimen of this. I'm going to be moving this fall actually to a different garden. I've decided I want to move it and pair those colors a little bit differently. So I'm going to be moving that tree to the backyard. and it's always a fan favorite. I love this plant.
Love the Japonicums and what they bring out in the landscape and garden. If you're looking for a traditional Japanese garden, this is an excellent plant that's going to give you that green summery feel during the summer and then spectacular fall color. So when fall is approaching, it's one you can enjoy, but because this thing has these big leaves, it looks almost tropical.
Yeah.
And it's something you can enjoy from spring, summer, and fall.
Very cool one there.
So next up, last on these 10 that we're talking about, but again, we've got 10 more that's not being talked about right now, is Acer palmatum Nanyat.
I love this plant. Now, here's a little of the backstory on this. Whenever Tim and I go and visit older nurserymen, we often love to ask, hey, what did you introduce? What are your favorite plants? These are questions we always ask. Well, we've learned to also ask, what do you wish you'd introduced? And so we were talking to Bob Baltzer, who's introduced several plants, who, I think he even helped mentor Talon Buchholz a little bit early on. Certainly a guy Talon learned a lot from.
Yeah.
Nanyat, also he's famous for Alpenweiss. Alpenweiss is one of his introductions. Nanyat was one he said, I've grafted this one, I've done it, but I wish I'd have gotten it out there more. I think it's an excellent plant. He took us through this grove of plants. We kind of pushed away some pots and went back to the hidden section there. And he said, here's my very first Nanyat. And so we said, hey, Bob, we got to get some sign on this. Let's get this going. Awesome tree. I think of this one as almost Aoyagi x Shishigashira. So think of a really fun combination of those two plants, and you're going to get a Nanyat.
That's a great point, because you get the texture of the Shishigashira with those unique leaves. You get green bark, and you also get that electric yellow fall color that like something like Aoyagi provides.
Hey, check out our video on Nanyat in my yard. We've got a great specimen of this.
And our video we shot is in perfect fall color, right. So it's a great time to really see what this thing can do in the fall.
Awesome plant. I think it's just going to gain in popularity. Really fun. When I know Talon started offering it too, we sent a couple plants to him, and he was really fired up about it, being a big fan of Bob Baltzer as well. And just a really cool plant. Actually, more of an amalgam of a name. It's Nancy and Yatsubusa. Bob had morphed together, that's his wife's name, to get that Nanyat. Love Nanyat. It is a super creative plant that brings so much there to the table. I think it's only going to grow in popularity, especially for that fall color. It's not uncommon in the winter months for it to look a very soft, light yellowish green too. You can get some really light shades, so it pairs really nicely with other coral barks.
Yeah, that light green chartreuse kind of color, the light, like pale light, stands out from what you typically get on a lot of other trees. Like, I think when you compared it to Aoyagi, that's exactly what you can compare it to. It's almost like a Shishigashira with a good yellow fall color and good winter interest.
Right.
I mean,
pair this with Shishigashira or even any of the Kuranajishi. I mean, it's going to be a faster grower, still a dwarf plant, but a little faster grower. You can almost put that in that lion's head family, right?
Yeah. I think this is an awesome plant. I think people need to have that tree in their garden, because once they get it, you're going to be falling in love with it like we have.
Hey guys, this is our 10 at 10 for October 4th of 2022. Our sizes are very indicative of this time of year in 2022. If you're watching it a year from now, they may be slightly larger or slightly smaller. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, let us know in that comment section below where you're watching from today. We hope all you are safe and having a great day. And we just really appreciate you taking time to tune into our premiere if you're catching this one live, or later. Let us know in the comment section below.
We really appreciate y'all watching this video. Make sure you go and find us on your favorite podcast forum. We're putting out a podcast now every single week. I know we talked about it for a long time. We're going to have a video of that as well on YouTube, but you can actually go and find us on your favorite podcast forum and subscribe to us there as well.
Guys, we've got new programming coming out every single day. There's something fun happening. Most of our videos premiering at that 9 a.m. mark every single day during the week. We are airing an 8 p.m. podcast on Sundays, so definitely be catching that. We'll be hopping in those premieres too and trying to talk to you guys as much as we can around family time. So we greatly appreciate you guys tuning in to today's show. If this is the main show you catch, definitely try some of our other ones. I think our walkthrough Wednesdays are becoming a favorite of mine. I'm a huge fan of those. I really enjoy getting out in the greenhouse, walking around, just the spontaneity of it, and showing you guys kind of what we're seeing here on a daily basis from me and Brian and Tim. And just sharing that passion with Japanese maples with you guys.
We appreciate y'all getting involved in the live chat today. That's always a great place to get in the community of Japanese maples with Mr. Maple. Thanks y'all so much for watching. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.